Once upon a time, a young man named Brian moved in with his Aunt Linda. After his parents divorced, he believed living with her would give him a fresh start. However, an unexpected event soon changed both of their lives forever. The car ride to Linda's apartment was quiet, except for the sound of the city outside. Brian's father gripped the steering wheel tightly. His jaw clenched. He had barely spoken since picking Brian up from his mother's place. Brian sighed, staring out of the window. The city was alive with blinking lights, rushing taxis, and people moving in every direction. It was a world so different from the quiet suburb where he had grown up. When the car pulled up in front of a tall apartment building, Brian felt a lump in his throat. This was it, his new home. His father stepped out of the car, grabbed Brian's small suitcase, and led the way inside. The lobby was grand, with polished marble floors, golden chandeliers, and a front desk, where a well-dressed receptionist greeted them with a polite nod. Apartment 12B, his father mumbled, checking his phone. They rode the elevator in silence, the tension between them thick when the doors opened. Brian saw his Aunt Linda, waiting by her door. "Welcome home, Brian," she said with a warm smile, pulling him into a hug. She smelled of vanilla and something floral. Brian forced a smile. "Thanks, Auntie Linda," turned to his father. "Thanks for bringing him. I'll take care of him." His father simply nodded. He gave Brian one last look before turning and walking back to the elevator. He didn't even say goodbye. Linda sighed and patted Brian's back. "Come inside." Brian stepped in and was immediately struck by how elegant the place was. The living room had floor-to-ceiling windows that gave a breathtaking view of the city. A modern chandelier hung from the ceiling, and a large L-shaped couch sat in the middle of the room. It looked like something from a movie. "You must be hungry," Linda said. "I made your favorite spaghetti and meatballs." Brian smiled for the first time that day you still remember. Of course, she led him to the dining table, and as they ate, she asked him about school, his hobbies, and how he felt about moving in with her. Brian relaxed. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad after all. But something about Linda felt different. She wasn't the same aunt he remembered from childhood. She was still young, just 35, beautiful, independent, and confident. There was something about the way she carried herself, the way she smiled. It made Brian feel things he shouldn't that night as he lay in bed staring at the ceiling. One thought kept coming back to him. "She's my aunt. This is just my mind playing tricks on me." If only it had been that simple. Days turned into weeks, and Brian started settling into his new life. Linda treated him more like a roommate than a nephew. She didn't nag him or set strict rules. She let him stay out late if he wanted, and even allowed him to drink wine with her. Sometimes they talked a lot. She would ask about his dreams, his fears, his thoughts on life. And slowly Brian started to feel a deep connection with her. One evening, a heavy rain poured over the city. The apartment was cozy with dim lights and the sound of soft jazz playing in the background.